Soybean School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Pride Seeds, BSF Canada, and Syngenta Canada.
Hi, I'm Bernard Tobin. Welcome to the Soybean School. Today I'm in Grand Valley, Ontario, catching up with Deb Campbell from Agronomy Advantage. Deb, how's it going?
Good, Bern. Good to see you.
Awesome. A beautiful day. And hey, we are going to look at SWAT Cam today. And Deb, tell us what we're looking at here. I see cameras mounted on a sprayer boom headed down the field, capable of taking images and counting plants. Am I close?
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So the SWAT Cams are literally cameras that are mounted on the booms of sprayers. But what's a little bit different with these is that we're capturing images to be able to make crop management decisions, based on biomass, based on, plant counts, those sorts of things. It's not necessarily a spraying piece, even though they're mounted on the sprayer. So it's a little bit different that way.
Awesome. Now, in recent years, we've heard a lot about, SWAT maps, soil, water, and topography maps. And here we have a SWAT Cam. Talk about, I guess, how these two sort of synchronize and go together to manage those zones you're talking about.
Right. So the foundational piece is SWAT Maps. So, we're in a soybean field here today. It's been SWAT mapped. We do variable rate fertilizer on this farm. We do variable rate seeding on this farm, trying to match the conditions of the soil to the plant growth that we're intending to get. So now this final piece is coming in with the SWAT Cam. So my scouting crew has been in here and taken all kinds of different population counts. But this camera, it'll be interesting to see what sort of population counts it comes back with. And of course, in 2023, we've had such a dry spring. We've had variable emergence. It's quite challenging. And, even here today, there's still soybeans emerging and popping up. So it'll be interesting to see what the cams tell us about the emergence, the population, the stand count versus what my scouts are seeing when they're out here.
Now, tell us about the technology here and the data and the imagery that you're going to get from the cam. How does that sort of download and compile information that you can use?
Yeah, well, it's really simple that, basically the imagery shows up on an app on your phone or your desktop. And so we get a report that tells us, sort of a biomass, based on canopy cover. We can distinguish between crop versus other species, so that we can maybe not necessarily identify every weed, but we can distinguish the crop from them. And then we also get percent cover, plant cover by zone, again, so that we can tie it back to what our seeding rates were, what our fertility plans were according to our SWAT maps. So several different data layer pieces there. It's really intriguing in that the picture quality is so good, you can actually zoom in and identify weeds on a lot of them. So I'm not replacing the scouting yet, but it's really neat that it has that quality of a picture.
Now, how much work here is there for the operator? You've got two cameras here. Is it pretty much push button?
Actually, it's not even push button, it's turn on the key. So these are mounted on each wing of the boom. We try to get equal spacing or close to it. And as soon as, they're powered to the key, as soon as you turn on the machine, they're going. And as soon as a sprayer pulls into a SWAT map field, crosses that boundary line, it picks up that it should be recording, and away it goes. The operator doesn't have to do anything. There's a little bit of work to just keep an eye on it, make sure everything's operating, keep the dust off the screens, that sort of thing. But no, it's been pretty seamless and easy to operate.
So Deb, tell me about, I guess, the data you're capturing this year. How are you going to apply it to this year's crop and in managing future crops?
Well, so far, we're here in June in the weed control window. So a lot of it has mostly just been monitoring and taking those emergence counts, so that feedback to the planter, that feedback to the air seeder to indicate how well the emergence is by zone. I anticipate we've done a few nitrogen applications based on zone and the percent cover, particularly in cereals, so nitrogen management. And, I actually anticipate we'll be able to use these in fungicide management as well, that we can pick up have those zones of high biomass where they're a much higher risk perhaps of white mold, and we can have either an on-off script or a low rate and a high rate type of script to address the spatial difference in the canopy. And then there's always plans for next year in are the seed mortality by zone too much?
Right.
So do we need to increase some of those zones, the seeding rate, to match the productivity of a zone? So there's lots of different ways to use this in the future to right size and correct and improve our scripts.
Now you're working with a number of your clients this year with the SWAT Cam. How's it been going, and where do you see this 5 years from now? Is it going to put you out of business, and how is it going to change agronomy?
Well, it's quite fascinating, when you can sit at your desk and actually identify weeds across a field. That has a lot of that impresses me, in that maybe there will be a point in the future where this sort of technology would replace full-on scouting for insects or diseases or weeds, sort of thing. But really right now, my crew takes a lot of time doing stand counts, and my expectation is that this is, in the near future, is going to be replacing that exercise very, very nicely and far more accurately.
Right.
So there's a spot there, and that's the thing with technology, is you just don't know what you can do until you get at it and experience, and then see how it unravels. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
Awesome. Well, Deb, hey, thank you for making time for the Soybean School. Always great to have you on Real Agriculture. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Bern. It was fun.